What's up guys, in this video I'm going to break down the 7 things that make men look feminine which you need to avoid. Alright, so before we go through the list, I do want to clarify that being feminine is very simply interchanged with being beta. Now I hate using that term because a lot of people get really confused about this beta versus alpha concept. But yeah, so the things I'm going to mention are things that I think are somewhat within your control, each one to a varying extent, which I think is beneficial for every guy to work on to become more alpha and become less feminine. Now, it's not a crime to have some feminine attributes, so if you're sort of guilty of one of these, don't freak the fuck out, just work on it to the best of your ability. It's more about the overall image that you present. Anyway, number 1 is being super skinny. So believe it or not, it's less feminine to just be overweight than to be overly skinny, right? Because when a girl sees an overly skinny guy, she just thinks weak, right? Like, this guy's incapable of protecting me, this guy can't do anything. Versus when she sees, you know, a slightly chubby guy or even a low-key fat guy, it's like, yeah, he's fat, but, you know, at least he's like probably strong, right? That's not to say you should become fat. No, the goal is to actually become a guy who has muscle. So every guy should strive to put on a decent amount of muscle, right? Like, for example, me personally, I've always been super skinny my whole life. I definitely fell into this category. When I got to my mid-20s, I started training hard, got on testosterone, that definitely helped as well. Started watching my diet, lifting heavy, and now I look a lot less skinnier, have a lot more bulk, thus making me look a lot less feminine. But yeah, girls, when they see a super skinny guy, they just think weak, beta, feminine. Another one is gossiping. So this one's not complete black and white. If you gossip from time to time, like I'm occasionally known to, it's not the end of the world. But if you're always gossiping, that's actually a very feminine quality. Like, you're hanging out with a girl like, oh my God, did you hear this? Did you hear that? Blah, blah. Because a true alpha guy, they mainly focus about themselves. They almost have like this small element of narcissism where they're just so busy focusing on themselves and things involving them, they don't have time to gossip. So a little bit of gossiping, not a big deal, but if you're overly gossiping, that is a very feminine quality. Number 3, high-pitched voice and uptalk. So your voice is somewhat outside your control, but also somewhat within your control. So for example, if you watch videos from me 3 to 4 years ago, you notice my voice used to be a lot higher. So testosterone can definitely help with that. Now, of course, you don't have to get on TRT. There are natural ways you can boost your testosterone. You can practice, you know, voice modulation and just talking and just speaking from your diaphragm, which is going to make your voice sound a lot deeper than speaking from, like, let's just say your nose. Like, speaking from my nose, right? Sounds a lot higher than when I speak from my stomach. So that's a big one as well, but also uptalk. So uptalk is when your voice pitches up at the end of the sentence. So let's just say I want to compliment a girl and I say, oh, that's a very sexy skirt, right? Oh, that's a very sexy skirt. Right? It's almost like I'm asking a question with my voice. Versus down talk, which is what you want to do, it's like, oh, that's a very sexy skirt, right? Your voice pitches down the end, which sounds a lot more masculine. So if you watch a lot of my videos, especially infield, you notice that naturally my voice just tends to kind of be, you know, pitches down the end of the sentence. And that's what you want. Now, don't obsess over this, don't overthink this, but if you have some infield of yourself or just voice record yourself talking, just make sure that you're not engaging in uptalk. At the very least, you want, you know, your sentence, the pitch of your voice to be neutral in terms of intensity and pitch as you go through a sentence, but it's better when it's down. So as you're going through a sentence, near the end of the sentence, you're pitched down in voice and pace. Hey, if you guys are finding value in this video, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. Seriously guys, just hit the subscribe button below. Anyway, next one is when you're too flashy and you have too many accessories. So it's good to be into fashion. Definitely something that I could personally improve on. But when guys are too into fashion and they have too many accessories and jewelry and, you know, necklaces and all that, that comes off very feminine. This is why I'm really anti-peacocking. When I see like mystery and style from back in the old days, I just think like these guys look gay. And not like, you know, gay as in homosexual, as in like, yo, like, no girl is gonna fuck this guy because he actually looks like he's, you know, just super beta and feminine. So yeah, so you definitely want to avoid that. Again, if you're homosexual, there's nothing wrong with that, but as a straight guy, you should never want to look homosexual to a girl because it's gonna be a massive turnoff. Next one, we have using lots of filters. So it's mind-boggling, but a lot of guys are guilty of this as well. In fact, using filters in general is somewhat feminine. So when you post photos on Instagram or on Tinder, don't use filters. Like if you are gonna get them edited, keep the editing very minimal. But for the love of God, don't do like the duck face or the bunny ears or like all these weird shit that chicks do. That's a very feminine thing, and as a guy, you never wanna do that in your photos. Number 6, and this is a big one, being reactive and getting overly emotional. So being reactive is something like you go out for drinks and then someone, spills a drink and you're like, oh my God, you start freaking out over something that's little. That's being reactive. A girl gives you a shit test and you get very emotional. That's being reactive, right? You just, something happens and you just get caught up in your feelings. Cough on cough, Myron Gaines, every time a girl gives him a shit test, he gets super reactive and emotional. That's not what you want. That's a feminine quality. That's a beta quality. You want to not do that. So you want to be very grounded. That's what women find attractive, is that grounded energy where you're like a tree and nothing can shake you. So whatever just comes your way, whether it's coming from the girl or from the outside environment, it doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect your state, doesn't affect your mood, nothing rattles you. That's very attractive to a girl. And the opposite of that, which is being very reactive, is feminine. And number 7, this is a small one, but I want to add it and mention it in this list, is shaking hands with girls. Now, of course, in a business setting, that's totally fine. You're at a business meeting or a professional setting, yeah, of course, shake hands with a girl. You have to get creepy with it. But in a social setting, shaking hands with a girl is a little feminine. What you want to do is give the girl a hug or even a kiss on the cheek. That's a lot more masculine, right? When you give a girl a confident hug that you meet in a social setting, like, hey, and you give her a kiss on the cheek, that's a lot more masculine than like, hi, nice to meet you, right? So that's a small thing, but I think that's a very easy fix for anyone who's making this mistake. All right, hopefully you guys found this video valuable, and by far the most feminine thing you can do is not smashing the subscribe button on this channel, not hitting the like button, and not hitting that bell for notification. So make sure you guys subscribe not to miss any more of the awesome videos we have coming out. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time.